the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Straight ahead, we're on the campaign trail in the DMV from Frederick County to the district. Plus, a look at the other big races the nation is watching and what could shape up to be a critical midterm election. And as the work week begins, Metro reopens 6 stations. A look at what's next for them.
Well, I can certainly tell you what's next in the weather department, but I'm going to hold back just a little bit till you see my 7-day forecast because changes are coming. Stick around.
All right, thanks, Scott. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday for DC News Now at 10. I'm Annalisa Gale. We start now with updates from your local election headquarters. The candidates running for governor of Maryland are making their final rounds as we quickly approach Election Day. Tonight, Republican candidate Dan Cox is holding a rally in Frederick County. This comes after his opponent's appearance at a Prince George's County church this morning. Our Michaela Newton is looking at their talking points.
Supporters here tell me that they believe in Dan Cox's message, which is to vote for freedom. On my way here, I saw a group of people coming from the Veterans Day Parade, and they were setting up, waiting on Dan Cox's arrival. Dan Cox, Maryland's Republican gubernatorial hopeful, held a rally in Brunswick, Maryland. It's one of his last stops on the campaign trail as we inch closer to the midterm elections. His supporters seem confident that he'll win on Tuesday.
I want to see Dan win. I think freedom is on the ballot, and I think that Dan is the perfect guy to bring in the freedom, and that's what I'm going to be voting for. I'm going to vote for freedom and no masks and parental rights and all the things that Dan supports.
I think it's so important, no matter which side you're voting for, to exercise your civic duty and to be a patriot of this great country, and the fact that we have the freedom to be able to vote in a democratic process to pick who we want to be our leaders because they represent us.
On Sunday morning, Wes Moore, the Democratic candidate for governor of Maryland, talked about the possibility of making history along with others.
We're both very humbled, and it's not lost on us that that the inauguration day, Aruna is going to become the first immigrant ever elected to statewide office in the history of the state of Maryland. I will be the first black governor in the history of the state of Maryland. We're very humbled by that. We also know that that's not why we're running. You know, we're running because we have a unique opportunity to make our state go faster, for our state to be bolder, for our state to be more inclusive.
And Dan Cox will be in Annapolis, Maryland on Election Day. For now, reporting in Frederick County, Maryland, I'm Michaela Newton for DC News Now.
And we turn now to D.C., where history will be made on Tuesday if Mayor Bowser is reelected. She would be the second politician in recent history to serve 3 terms as mayor. The first was Marion Barry. D.C. News Now's Daniel Hamburg has been talking to voters today. He's joining us live. Daniel, what are you hearing from people at the polls?
Well, Annalisa, voters I talked with tonight were excited to cast their ballot. Today was the last day for early voting, which ended about 3 hours ago. No matter what your politics are, the messaging seems to be the same across the board.
There's never been a more important election. There's so many things in our country that are going in a direction that I don't like.
Sunday was the last day for early voting in the district.
I just think it's really important that everybody vote. I think that everyone should get out and vote. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you live in D.C. and you don't have, representation in Congress.
Mayor Muriel Bowser is up for a 3rd term, which would make her the 2nd longest serving mayor behind Marion Barry, who served 4 terms.
I think she's done a great job. She managed, I think, COVID really brilliantly, and I think she deserves a 3rd term, and I admire her for going for it again.
One race to watch is for the 2 at-large seats on D.C. Council. Ward 5 council member Kenyon McDuffie is now running for an at-large seat against incumbent at-large members Alyssa Silverman and Anita Bonds. They're against 4 new challengers.
I want to just have a say in who my elected members are, and I'm happy to vote.
And on everyone's ballot, Initiative 82, which if passed would require mandatory base wage paid by employers to increase until 2027 when it matches the district's $15.20 per hour minimum wage. Some are for the change.
I feel like that restaurants should pay workers a fair wage, no matter what.
But others aren't.
I think the system is working perfectly as it is. I have a lot of friends who are in the restaurant industry, and it's been very difficult to attract personnel, and I think it'll make it even more difficult.
Tuesday is Election Day in D.C. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. In the studio, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
All right, thanks, Daniel. Now to Prince George's County, where election officials say they're dealing with a new challenge this election season. There are several questions on the ballot which may cause delays at the polls. Our reporter Yamari Sisse is taking a closer look at those issues tonight, which you'll be asked to weigh in on.
Prince George's County election officials say voting on Election Day may take a little longer as you read through some of the questions on your ballot.
The ballot is 4 pages. And that's something that we historically have never had to deal with before.
And they want everyone to be patient and read carefully.
We do encourage voters to read the questions ahead of time so that they know how they're going to vote prior to going to the polls.
So, what's on the ballot in the county? Questions A through E are focused on bond issues to improve community college facilities, county buildings, libraries, and more. Other questions you'll see involve charter amendments. Question F will focus on a review board to make recommendations on the amount of compensation the county executive and the county council members will receive. With question G, the charter committee noticed more than 90 instances of gender-specific language in the charter. Now they're looking to change that and make it gender neutral. And question I will require that requests for proposals in the county contract biddings be made public in the newspaper. And the final one, question J, that will require all county council members to be a registered voter in their district for 1 year before an election season, unless there is a zoning change. And as a reminder, long lines are expected on Election Day.
We expect a very high turnout, and we are in fact prepared for it.
Now, the Board of Elections is reminding everyone to ensure that you drop off your mail-in ballot in these drop boxes or have it marked by the post office on November 8th. For now, reporting in Prince George's County, Maryland, I'm Yamari Sisse, DC News Now.
Developing this evening in Fairfax County, officers are investigating a shooting in the 13,000 block of Parcher Avenue that's near Hutchinson Elementary School. It happened just after 4 p.m. Police say when they got to the scene, a suspect took off to Dulles Toll Road. That's where he was hit by a car and later transported to the hospital with critical injuries.
He was ground transported to a local hospital where he's being treated for injuries that are still considered life-threatening. Our officers combed the area, and our canine officers located a firearm in the woods along the path that this individual took. Our crash reconstruction unit detectives are on scene investigating this incident. We will update the community when we have more information.
And we're told that driver who struck the suspect remained on the scene. Also developing in the district, a shooting investigation is underway in the 1200 block of First Street Southwest, bringing the total number of teens shot in the district this weekend to 4. D.C. police say that 2 teen boys were injured in that shooting. They have been transported to a nearby hospital where they are being treated and they are expected to recover. This comes after 2 other teen boys were shot in the 400 block of O Street Northwest just before 5:30 p.m. on Saturday. They are also expected to recover. Well, back to the campaign trail now. Right now, all eyes are also on Pennsylvania as big names join Senate candidates on the campaign trail, including former Presidents Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Sarah Wilson from our sister station shares their message.
This weekend, presidents past and present making their final political pitch in Pennsylvania before Tuesday's critical midterm elections.
It's good to be back in Pennsylvania.
Former President Barack Obama in Pittsburgh with Democratic Senate candidate John Fetterman. The race for Senate in the Commonwealth couldn't be tighter. All eyes are on it because the results could decide which party controls the chamber.
Democrats have an actual plan.
Obama focusing on hot-button issues like the economy, health care, and abortion.
If Republicans take back the House and Senate, we could be one presidential election away from a nationwide ban on access to abortion. And that might just be the beginning.
The 2-term Democrat also briefly addressing the stroke Fetterman suffered in May.
John's stroke did not change who he is. It didn't change what he cares about. It didn't change his values, his heart. his fight.
Hours later, Obama meeting with President Joe Biden in Philadelphia to rally in support of gubernatorial candidate Josh Shapiro. The current president sending a similar message about the Senate race, but highlighting why he says Republicans can't take control of Congress.
They want to get rid of everything we just did. The power we just gave Medicare to negotiate drug prices, gone. The $2,000 cap on prescription drugs, gone. The $35 cap on insulin, gone. The tax credit for lower energy costs, gone.
Biden telling Americans to get out and vote, noting that the outcome of the election could shape the country for years to come.
This isn't a referendum this year. It's a choice between two vastly different visions of America.
On the other side of the political aisle, former President Donald Trump stumping for U.S. Senate candidate Mehmet Oz and Republican Doug Mastriano, who's running for governor of Pennsylvania. Trump taking the stage, immediately addressing inflation and immigration.
When Republicans retake Congress, we must immediately force the restoration of every single border security policy.
The former president telling supporters that the only way to stop crime is to vote red.
If you want safety for your family and security for your community, you need to vote every single Democrat out of office and vote for Republicans up and down the line.
Trump, like Biden and Obama, also touting Tuesday as a defining moment.
And we better get tough, or we're not going to have a country left anymore. We're not going to have a country left.
Again, that was Sarah Wilson reporting. All right, Scott. Well, we got that extra hour of sleep today, and it wasn't bad weather-wise.
No, actually it wasn't. Yes, we had some showers out there, but most of us didn't see those. There was a few places, especially along Interstate 95, which we talked about yesterday, that we're going to see showers. That did come to fruition. But temperature-wise, it was nice out there. So what are we looking for as we step outside, open up that door, get outside on your Monday morning? Not bad. 55 to 65 degrees. However, patchy fog, some of it locally dense, could be seen. So please be careful if you're running across some fog there. Mainly cloudy skies, light and variable winds will be seen. Now, what about a little Election Day history? That's tomorrow, the out-the-door warm day. The day after, Election Day, much cooler. Well, I'll show you that forecast in a minute. But the warmest afternoon was 64 degrees. Now, this is just going back 5 midterm election cycles, and on the days of November 8th there. So the warmest 64 in 2010, the coolest 36 in 2014, the wettest about almost an inch and a half in 2006, with the average high, low, and precipitation for November 8th is 61.43 and 0.07 of an inch of precipitation. Now, what about this year, mid-election? We're looking fine. We're not looking at any rain, so we're going to see some sunshine there. We're not going to be very warm, but we'll be warmer or we'll be cooler than actually what we have tomorrow, but it'll be closer to normal is what I'm trying to get at. But it is going to be a cool start. 48 on average in the morning, 56 at 2 p.m. and 51 around 6 o'clock, closer to when some of those polls close. Now, as far as the satellite radar is concerned, you can see right now things are drying out. There are still a little bit of shower activity out towards the mountains. Very hit and miss, and if you don't see any showers tonight, then you won't be seeing any sort of rain until the end of the week, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But headlines, this is what we're looking at. Patchy fog tonight. Monday is still warm, a dry and sunny election Tuesday, and then more rain possible next late week period. We'll talk about it, show it to you, and give you that 7-day forecast around the corner.
All right, thanks, Scott. Well, right now we have an update out of Fairfax County now, where a man wanted for second-degree murder is now in custody. 28-year-old Phil Asari Darkwa turned himself into local authorities on Saturday evening. Darkwa was one of 3 men wanted for the murder of a man inside of his apartment on Seminary Road last Sunday. Police say that Darkwa was the shooter that killed 26-year-old Ahmed Hemho. He is now being held without bond. Back to the district now, where this week we're waiting to see what will happen to legislation unanimously passed by the D.C. Council. It's a major update to the city's criminal code, but the bill is unlikely to make it past the mayor's desk and into law. Mayor Muriel Bowser saying that while she agrees with the majority of what is in the bill, she is not likely to sign it. Mayor Bowser says she opposes a change that would guarantee a jury trial for anyone who is charged with a crime or even a misdemeanor. She believes that there is a judge shortage, and if this change is put into place, it would just clog an already backed up D.C. Superior Court. Those who support the bill, though, say the change is necessary to fix old language and that it will make the justice system more equitable. The council still has time to weigh in on this.